If your doctor has made you feel like perimenopause is something to treat or cure, I need you to hear this. Perimenopause is not an illness. It's a natural transition, and your symptoms are your body's way of asking for what it needs. Let's rephrase perimenopause from a disease to a transition. I'm Dinah, an integrative health practitioner, and I demystify the perimenopause transition with science-based guidance. I promise to explain why perimenopause requires support and not just symptom suppression. Perimenopause is a natural transition. So what is it actually? It's a biological life phase, not a medical condition. Hormonal fluctuations are normal and they're expected. Every woman experiences this transition. And like puberty, it's natural, but sometimes challenging and even messy. It can feel like an illness because the symptoms are debilitating or can be debilitating. It impacts on daily function and on the quality of life that we have. Traditional medicine treats it like a disease to manage. And then there's the cultural misconception. Society frames aging as a decline, and perimenopause is positioned as broken rather than transitioning. And previous generations have suffered silently for, well, generations. Modern women deserve better support through natural transitions. Now think about this. Your body isn't broken. Symptoms are signals. They're not failures. Your body is communicating what it needs. It's the difference between being broken or being imbalanced. And perimenopause reveals underlying issues that may in fact have existed for years. Now, the next thing to talk about is that it may not be just hormonal. So let's look at the hormone-only assumption. Most women and doctors assume that perimenopause equals hormone replacement. But HRT alone often doesn't solve all the symptoms, especially if the symptoms are not hormone related. There's frustration when hormone therapy by itself only provides minimal relief. The complete picture is that other things could be contributing to challenging symptoms. For example, gut dysbiosis. Imbalanced gut bacteria affects hormone metabolism, and 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut. So if the gut is imbalanced, not enough serotonin is being produced. And gut health impacts mood, anxiety, brain fog. It's like the body's second brain. The gut hormone connection is what most doctors miss. Another source of symptoms could come from heavy metal toxicity. Environmental exposure is accumulated over years and decades. Heavy metals disrupt the endocrine function. They impact cognitive function and energy production. And heavy metals hide in everyday life in places like unfiltered water, in cosmetics and cream, large fish like tuna, aluminum cookware, and even in our dental fillings. A common third source of symptoms are parasites. They're more common than most people realize. They create anxiety, sleep disturbances, and brain fog, and they often mimic perimenopause symptoms. Conventional medicine rarely tests for parasites unless you've maybe been on a holiday in a tropical location. Another source of symptoms is bacterial overgrowth. This happens in the small intestine. It causes bloating, inflammation, nutrient malabsorption, and frequent UTIs. It affects energy, mood, and hormone balance. And it's often misdiagnosed as IBS or stress. And finally, food sensitivities can be a source of symptoms. They create systemic inflammation. They trigger mood swings, joint pain, and brain fog. And this develops over time, so it's not always obvious. The reaction usually takes 2 to 4 days to develop. So by then, it's not obvious to associate the symptom with a food that you ate. The layered reality is that perimenopause rarely exists in isolation. Multiple imbalances often coexist because a drop in estrogen can have a cascading effect. This is why addressing only hormones can leave women suffering. Your symptoms might be 30% hormonal and 70% other factors. So let's talk about conventional versus functional testing. Conventional testing looks for disease markers and pathology. Basically, it asks, are you sick enough to treat? It reports based on population averages, not on optimal function. And it's designed to diagnose illness, not to identify imbalances. And then there's a problem with the normal range. It's based on averages across all ages and health levels. It doesn't account for your individual optimal function, and it misses subtle imbalances that significantly impact quality of life. This is why you can feel terrible with normal labs. Let's look at what conventional tests actually miss. Hormone metabolin pathways are not measured. Gut microbiome imbalances can occur. There can be parasite infections. There can be heavy metal accumulation. There can be food sensitivity reactions. There can be nutrient deficiencies that affect cellular function. And then, of course, there's the interconnection between all the different systems. So functional medicine testing is different. It looks for optimal function, not just an absence of disease. It asks, what does your body really need to thrive? It provides narrower, more precise reference ranges. And the result is a comprehensive view of interconnected systems. So now you're asking, what does functional testing reveal? Well, it gives a complete hormone panel, not just levels, but metabolism markers and ratios. It shows how your body processes and eliminates hormones. It shows estrogen metabolite pathways because often these pathways are clogged. It illustrates cortisol patterns throughout the day. Normal patterns are high in the morning and they decline over the course of the day. But if you're struggling with sleep and fatigue, the pattern is often reversed and it starts low and it goes high. It gives a comprehensive gut health assessment, including microbiome diversity and balance. It provides indicators of leaky gut. It reports on digestive enzyme function. And it shows the beneficial versus the pathogenic bacteria ratios. It gives parasite and pathogen testing as well. It catches organisms that conventional tests miss. And it uses multiple testing methods for accuracy. And it provides an understanding of the full scope of gut dysfunction. It does heavy metal and toxicity screening. And that shows the accumulated burden over time. You can see how metals affect hormone receptors, and it tracks the detoxification pathway capacity, especially in the liver. It reports on food sensitivity. It does this by identifying inflammatory triggers, and it shows the difference between time-delayed sensitivity reactions and the immediate and really serious reactions of allergies. You can then see how foods impact your specific symptoms. And finally, it provides a nutrient status. It reports on the levels of vitamins and minerals that are essential for hormone production, the cofactors that are needed for detoxification to happen, and what nutrients your body is actually depleted of. So you're asking, how do we support the transition? Let's look at the support versus the suppress approach. Medications suppress symptoms temporarily. Support addresses what your body actually needs. Now, personally, I prefer to work with your biology rather than against it. What is your body asking for? Well, it's asking for nutrients for hormone production. It wants support for detoxification pathways. It wants gut healing and microbiome balance. It wants the removal of inflammatory triggers. And it wants the elimination of organisms that create dysfunction. So let's talk about the targeting of intervention advantage. With testing, you know exactly what your body needs. There's no more guessing or trial and error. You get faster results. Approach. The changes are sustainable. They're not band-aid solutions that miss the root cause. So now you want to know what timeline we're talking about. Well, sleep improves in about a week. Energy stabilizes in 2 to 3 weeks. Cognitive clarity returns within a month. And ongoing optimization takes 3 to 4 months. So this is what to expect when supporting a natural transition, not curing a disease. And I love how empowered the approach makes you feel. By understanding your body's language, what it's telling you with the symptoms, by having agency in your health journey, and not being a passive patient receiving prescriptions that often have side effects, and becoming an active participant in the optimization process. This approach sets you up to thrive long term. It sets a foundation for a healthy post-menopause chapter. It prevents the development of chronic disease. It enables you to maintain your professional performance at work. And it supports you fully through all phases of life. So just to recap, perimenopause is a natural transition, not an illness, but it may reveal imbalances that need support. The truth is that your symptoms may not just be hormonal, and normal lab ranges don't mean that you're functioning optimally. Functional medicine testing reveals the complete picture: hormones, gut health, parasites, heavy metal, and more. You deserve to thrive through this transition, not just survive it. Are you ready to discover what your body is really asking for? Schedule a discovery call. Let's use comprehensive functional medicine testing to identify your specific imbalances, whether hormonal, gut-related, parasites, heavy metal, or a combination of all the factors. Together, we'll create your personalized support plan to help you thrive through this natural transition. Perimenopause isn't an illness to cure, it's a transition to support. Let's give your body what it's asking for. The link to book a discovery call is in the show notes below. Now, your body isn't broken, it's transitioning, and with the right support, you can feel better than you have in years. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content about the real root causes of midlife health issues.